His eyes slowly opened. They hurt, feeling like they were covered in sand, heavy and burning. His breaths came short. He was weak. He tried pulling up his hand to rub them, but his wrists exploded with a sharp pain. Immediately the snake was fully awake, realizing that he wasn't anywhere comfortable. The place. The ground was tiled with a drain in the middle. The walls naked concrete. A singular light bulb hung above his head. The music of the nightclub came very muffled, so he must still be in the building. Unintentionally he sniffed and shuddered. Now he smelled it. Blood. But not just from a singular demon. Many demons. Both hellborn and not. His neckhood shriveled closely to his scalp for comfort. Trying to move his tail led to the same pain he felt around his wrists, and after curiously looking down, he realized why. He was bound with barbed wire. If he wasn't careful, one of his secondary eyes may get damaged. Whoever tied him up, however, made painfully sure that unless he tried wiggle himself out of this, they would go unharmed. Clever. Really clever. Was this one of these saw traps? He had seen the movies. Nifty had put them on the other day for movie night. They had given him nightmares. But what did he learn from them? That the mutilation sometimes is worth it. Right. And that some traps can't be escaped from. Interestingly enough, those happen to be Nifty's favorite traps. Sadly, his survival instincts still prevented him from tearing through the barbed wires. So he was stuck here, until the silly puppet told him how to get out. Or at least, how he was supposed to get out. Meanwhile, upstairs on the dance floor, Angel Dust was frantically looking for Sir Pentious. The snake demon. This was supposed to be a bonding experience, all set up and paid by Charlie. In other words, a night out drinking with your best pal. But if Angel returned to the hotel without the snake, he'd have to go look for the demon regardless. In his search, he suddenly bumped into a hooded figure. Sorry, Toots. I'm looking for a friend. Quietly, you watched as the spider demon vanished in the mass of other patrons. You noted that he had particularly nice fur. How cute. Without letting yourself be bothered by the other patrons, you stepped towards a guarded metal door in the back rooms of the club. Is he here? You asked. The guards nodded respectfully, and you smiled. They opened the metal door for you with a bow. Your chosen name was Mariah, a deal maker, working under the overlords in their name, for things that they considered too small. It was a special job. You could freely terrorize lesser beings with your contracts. All you needed to do was make sure that the overlords got a certain percentage of whatever you made. But that was fine with you. It got you into a few lucrative spots. Your favorite being for Carmela Carmine, the primary supplier of weapons in hell. And she was the one who sent you here. Whenever a being she considered not deserving of her attention, she sent you. To collect the debts. Especially since she was the type to avoid violence herself. Ironic, really. You, of course, weren't. You descended the stairs with cold, calculated grace. The club's basement reeked of spilled alcohol and debauchery, though there also was a hint of blood. You stopped at a marked metal door. Looking past its bars, you saw the bound Sir Pentious. He was struggling with the stinging pain of the barbed wires. Such a vulgar thing, wasting so much precious pain on something as frivolous as being bound. You opened the door, and the snake stared at your direction like a hunted animal. He watched as a silhouette entered the cone of his light.
I assume you are the one who wants to speak with me?
You chuckled. Speak would be an understatement, my dear Pentious. He gulped.
Who are you?
I am Mariah. I was sent by the Carmines to collect your debt. The snake gulped.
I don't have the money right now.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that.
With me, I mean, it's in my room in the hotel. I promise.
You chuckled darkly, as if you would fall for that trick. Well, you had ample time to pay, so it doesn't matter anymore, if you have it or not. You pulled over a metal tray. On it you placed a leather pouch. Unfolding it, it revealed a small selection of surgical tools, clean and glistening in the light.
But I can't pay!
If you can, why am I here? He bit his tongue out of frustration.
Well, I must have forgotten to pay early, but I have enough. Just let me make a phone call, please.
I don't do phone calls. You place an hourglass on the tray. See this? This is something nifty made by Voxtech. This little hourglass measures the pain I inflict on you against the debt that you have. And I will not stop until every grain of sand has left the upper bulb.
Do I still have to pay afterwards?
You grinned as you took your hood off. Your eyes were closed, and Sir Pentious blushed. You were deceptively cute. Outwardly, you appeared like an adorable bunny. You had long ears. Your face was covered in cloud-like, silky smooth fur in a light pastel pink. Between your ears, you had the remnants of horns that were broken off. Your red nose had the shape of a little heart.
A Volpertinger,
he muttered. So you were a sinner demon. Good to know, he thought. Volpertinger demons were demons whose grudge towards people was so strong they committed heretical acts to take revenge upon them, making you perfect for your kind of work. You and all of your kind were ruthless, going above and beyond to get revenge on anyone who ever wronged you or the people you worked with.
What's with that get-up?
You tilted your head. A face as adorable as mine is often the victim of needless ass-grabbing. And I'm here to hurt you, and only you. Not them. It's just business. Sir Pentious gulped as he watched you pull out a pair of tongs. Now I find the experience is much more pleasant when I explain to you what I'm about to do. You see, the threat is just as effective as actually doing it, Sir Pentious. You smiled as you stepped towards him. As a snake, I'm sure you have a venomous bite, and I'm sure you're very proud of it. Lucky me, my fur will keep me safe, but I still don't want to risk it, So let's get rid of these little biters, won't we? With a hand, you squeeze his lower jaw, forcing his mouth open. With a smile, you tap your tongues against his long fangs. His eyes widen as the metal squeezed down on the right one. The snake breathed heavily through his nose. And then, with but a single powerful yet slow pull, you removed the fang from his gums. You took a step back to allow him to scream, blood spewing from the wound. As you inspected his tooth in the light of the bulb, it was long in a beautiful crimson red. A little piece of ripped-off flesh was at its end, still pulsating as purple venom uselessly was pushed out of a tiny hole at the tooth's tip. Grow up, you chuckled. Grabbing the hourglass, you tapped it again. Grabbing the hourglass, you tapped the tooth against it. Just look how few grains have just now fallen, Sir Pentious. We aren't done yet, not even in the slightest. And we won't be done for a while. After he finished coughing, he hung his head low. He felt so powerless. And his mouth hurt so much, he didn't even want to talk anymore. But when you grabbed his chin again, he struggled as hard as he could against his restraints. If at least you opened your eyes, he could try hypnotizing you. Ah! You pulled, but stopped. The hairs on your neck were standing up. What is this feeling? You whispered. Shaking your head, you pulled again, only for the feeling to return. It was fully enveloping you, kinda like fear. Frustrated, you pulled hard enough to rip the tooth out, this time however with more strength, which led to less pain. But it still hurt the demon a lot. You then turned to face the door. Someone's coming. You muttered angrily. You hated interruptions. Oh, thank God, whimpered Sir Pentious. You heard someone run from the hallway towards your door. You braced yourself. It swung open with a loud bang. Before you stood a gray-skinned woman with white hair and only a singular eye. She was heaving. Clearly she ran. A lot. Spear in hand, while someone shouted behind her, "Vaggie, wait for me!" "I don't know who you are, and I don't care, but that snake belongs to us!" she shouted. You grinned, revealing your sharp teeth. "Oh, really now? So, are you going to pay his debt then?" Your words were filled with venom. You hated interruptions. You wanted to kill this demon for her insolence, but better see what happens next. Her eye twitched, and with the back of your hand you slapped the spear out of her grip. Surprised at your strength, she stared at her now empty palms. "Stronger than I thought," she muttered, impressed. But just then, someone else appeared at the door. Such an undignified ruckus today. "Vaggie, are you... Oh dear, Sir Pentious!" You suppressed a gasp. The girl behind the one-eyed demon was blonde, small, and was dressed in all red. She was familiar. Yes, you had seen her. Charlie! The Princess of Hell. Hello, hi. My friend Angel Dust said that, our friend was gone? she said as she walked past her rapid attack dog. She scratched the back of her head awkwardly.
May I, know what's going on here?
Your face shifted from Vaggie to Charlie. I'm only doing my job. The snake has a debt to pay. I'm here to collect. He has no money, so I'm here to punish him.
Okay, but... Charlie raised a finger. But, don't you think he suffered enough?
You scoffed. I only ripped out 2 of his teeth. My job here isn't even halfway done. You pointed at your hourglass. Charlie gulped.
Okay, then, how about it is done?
I don't quite follow.
He's here for debt, correct? Can I pay it?
What? Charlie! Vaggie interrupted.
You said you'd let me handle it, Vaggie. Please let me handle it.
Growling, the grey demon turned towards her spear, picking it up. She walked outside, leaning against the wall opposite to the door's opening. She was staring daggers at you. How pleasant. Do you have money on you, Charlie? You scoffed.
Well, not here with me, but...
Then I continue.
No, please, just...
Charlie slipped around you, wrapping an arm around Sir Pentious in a comforting way. With a sad face, she looked at the barbed wires.
Maybe he doesn't need to pay?
You frowned.
Why should that be? He's at the Haspen Hotel. He's trying to redeem himself.
You snorted. Redemption was a joke.
And I know that sounds funny considering the circumstances, but...
You raised a finger to interrupt her. I have already been paid to inflict pain equal to the debt he owes to Camilla.
Right, but...
I will inflict that pain.
Right, but...
Charlie inhaled.
Sir Pentious wishes to be redeemed and ascend to heaven. If he does that, all contracts and debts are null and void. Correct?
I suppose... You crossed your arms.
So if I lend Sir Pentious the money to calm down Camilla, you obviously still have to inflict the pain, correct?
You nodded.
Correct. But if he ascends, then you don't have to inflict the pain anymore, correct? Because he's no longer in reach?
You shrugged. You're technically correct. And arguably that's the best kind of correct.
What are you doing, Charlie?
Hissed Sir Pentious. You clapped into your hands.
Well, in that case, it's an easy deal.
You opened your eyes, finally, which made Charlie flinch and take a step back. Your eyes were mortifying. Purple orbs filled with countless moving, screaming, tormented souls. Like all dealmakers, you had pride in your soul collection. Vaggie's stomach turned as she looked at them. And holding out your hand, you spoke.
I will wait for Sir Pentious. Should he, as expected, fail to ascend, I will deliver the full punishment. His sentence is hereby merely suspended till further notice. Should he ascend in the unlikely scenario, however, I would treat it like he never existed. And of course, you pay the debt owed to Camilla, so I can still tell her that I did the job correctly. After all, I have a reputation to uphold. Okay, but...
Charlie gently pushed your hand away. No dealy makey, more like promisey makey. You narrowed your eyes, black smoke puffing out of your broken horns. Are you making fun of me? No, never. Just, can't we just promise and stuff? She isn't Alistair, Charlie, scoffed Vaggie. Yes, but I don't want to gamble someone else's soul or my own on this. A moment of tense silence ensued, only interrupted by the quiet dripping noise of Sir Pentious' bleeding mouth. Double the debt then, hissed Sir Pentious, and make the deal with me. He cried out before exhaling loudly. Did he seriously just say that? The silence was mind-breaking. Or not. But your lips had already perked up into a grin. Snapping your fingers, the barbed wires around his hands unraveled. His hands twitched as he rubbed his wrists. You pushed your face into his, your purple eyes glowing dangerously. All he could see were the screaming faces swirling within them. And shake my hand, you little sluck. Double the pain, double the punishment, should you fail. But for now, it will be suspended. He hated this. He hated it so much. Oh God, why did he say that? But as his hand wrapped around yours, the gentle softness of your fur was unbelievably soothing. He didn't even feel his mouth anymore, or was scared of your eyes. However, the pain returned once he was no longer making contact with your fur, and yet he was still completely enchanted. Well, I shall be moving into the hotel then. Oh, really? Giddy Charlie jumped up, excited. Don't knock yourself out, sweetheart. I merely want to keep my signee in close proximity. Oh, well, I mean, we can certainly accommodate that. Can you at least participate in our activities? It was many hours later. With his bandaged up wrists, Sir Pentious was lying down in his bed. Egg minions scattered around in his room as they had already been asleep by the time he had come back. What a day, what a day. But he was thankful to Angel Dust for calling Charlie so quickly. But this deal, that was certainly some stress he didn't need. He rolled on his side. But at least he got out of it for now. However, just as he closed his eyes, an arm suddenly wrapped around his chest. All of his alarm bells rung, and he quickly rolled out of the embrace. Holding his blanket in front of his chest like a shield, as if he was unclothed, he hissed. "Who dares to enter my domain?" he shouted. But then his eyes met yours. Ah! He threw himself on his chest, burying his head under his pillow. Aren't you cute? What do you want from me, demon? On all fours, you slowly crawled over to him, until you're right next to him, whispering, making sure you don't run. He shivered, but then moved his head up, almost hitting you on the way. What? Why? You know I won't. Why are you naked? You grabbed him by his collar, pulling him closer to you. Look like you can see anything under all that fluff. Why? What's wrong? Scared of sleeping with someone else? His face turned red.
Why are you tormenting me like this? Oh, I can't physically harm you. That was part of the deal. But mentally, I can do whatever I want. And besides, with your left still holding him by the rim of his PJs, you grabbed his hand with your right, pressing it into the fluff of your chest. His reaction was immediate. His long snake tongue lolled out of his mouth. Oh God, so soft. He couldn't deal with it. That was a secret that you didn't share, but you took great care of your pelt. Special oils you imported from the Ring of Lust using an imp delivery service were gently massaged every morning into it by your hands. You are proud of your excellent grooming, and it made getting contracts so much easier when your target was completely and utterly lost in the simple pleasure of petting you. His hand suddenly brushed against your sensitive chest, making you inhale sharply. What was that? Nothing? Thankfully, your face was covered in fur and he didn't see your blush. In truth, the reason you had invaded his private space was because your room wasn't cleaned up yet. And regardless of that, you wanted to be with the snake as long and as often as possible. So you snuck inside while he was brushing his teeth an hour ago. And why not have a little fun with him before you, hopefully, got to gut him like a fish in a couple of weeks? The thought of his blood staining your immaculate fur was arousing. And you couldn't help it. You kissed the snake on the mouth. Only a mere peck. But he made a noise of absolute discomfort, like a child who stepped on a Lego. Please leave. I can't leave if you keep fondling my tits. His eyes wide in horror. He had been grabbing full handsful of them for a couple of minutes now. Have I been doing that? You nodded. Sorry. Keep going. I didn't say stop. You swung yourself on his thick body, pressing him down, and he gasped. Feeling your entire weight on his tail, feeling your fur envelop him, it was too much. I can breathe. It's so good. Something suddenly poked your behind. With a surprised expression, you looked back at yourself. Huh. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Please don't tell Charlie. She'll judge me forever. Oh, you're completely misinterpreting my huh. It was more a surprise, because I didn't think the rumors were true that snake demons have 2 of these. Seductively, you smiled at him as you grabbed him. Let's take both of these for a test drive then, Sir Pentious.
Special thanks to my darling channel members Aruna, Chloe Rockenbow, Chariot Bunny, D's Nuts, Nicodemus D, Cat Cove, Kea Abyss, BitBit, Zinx, Sleeptown, Hella, Nexrist, AJ Anime Girl, and Hopeful. And special thanks for the rejoining members Melofia and Muffin. Welcome back. I missed you.